Hi, and welcome to Danny After Dark. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a notification or a new episode. Tonight is the weekly True Crime and Chill. Mr. Beckham will be here, but he will be fashionably late because, as I've heard it, he is talking about sports. So, yeah, he's doing his thing right now, but he'll be back over here once he is done with that. But in the meantime, that's okay because we have a lot to talk about tonight. So happy Friday, y'all. I don't know about you, but I am just so ready for the weekend. And yeah, just excited to spend it here with you guys. So just wanted to update everyone. So, book club. There was a tie between two books, like to the percent an exact tie, which is wicked weird. That hasn't happened before. So I did post on the community post that we need a tiebreaker. And Saturday, January 10th, so tomorrow at midnight is the deadline. And the two books that it is between is The House of My Mother by Sherry Frankie, and then The Spider, Inside the Tangled Web of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell by Barry Levin. So those are the two books. So this Saturday is the deadline. Again, if you want to vote on which book you would like a review on for book club. So make sure to get that in. I have not honestly checked what the percentages is since I put that kind of tiebreaker poll. So I'm curious to see which one it is. Either way, I'm really excited to review and talk about it with y'all. So in regards to next week's schedule, so next week is my dance show. So I will be busy pretty much most of next week leading into the performance. So there will be no true crime and chill next Friday, but I will do a show next Tuesday. That's actually the only night I can do it. And I will be doing a review of a book that I'd gotten a while ago. And yeah, I was hoping to have that done for this week. But y'all know your girl takes, I would say, extensive notes. Some of you might think extensive is actually putting it mildly. And I wasn't able to get it done in time. I was so close. And I was like, no, I can't just do a review of a book like half-ass. I have to get it done for y'all the right way. So that will be coming this next Tuesday. So stay tuned for that. Let's see what else. So I posted, and if y'all want more pictures of it, let me know. So I have been trying to visit, and this is totally off subject from true crime, but still related to Danny, because if y'all didn't know, I like cats. So there's a lot of cat cafes in the area. And I say, well, in the area within like a 2-hour radius. And my goal is to just visit as many of them, to be perfectly honest. And some of them are just like I'm visiting on a whim. Like last Saturday, I drove to one and just was like, I'm going to check it out on a whim. It was like an hour drive each way. I'm like, I'm going to do it. And I did post some pictures of their cats at that cat cafe. And again, they're all adoptable cats. And I like to see that, again, being in rescue work, seeing how other organizations do that. So I figured I did a whole bunch of pictures for friends and stuff, obviously. But I was like, let me post a few of them here on my Instagram and Facebook and just see what y'all, if y'all like it or not. So I will be visiting more. So if you guys are like, yes, we want to see that, then I will definitely post it on the Instagram and Facebook page for Dating After Dark. And if you're like, we really don't care, we just want to see your cats, then that's totally fine too. Either way, just let me know. I did also, I'm just trying to go in order of all the things here. I did a community post for Mr. Beckham. I will be, or you will be, as an audience, interviewing Mr. Beckham. He has agreed, not that I really gave him a choice, but no, to do an interview here for, on Danny After Dark. We've done one for Paul, and we haven't done one for Beckham. So if that is something where I gave the option, where I can do it my traditional style, or y'all can we can do it an audience-based thing, because I know there are so many burning questions y'all have for Beckham. I have some as well. but I know y'all have a lot. So we can also do like a little bit of a mix where I just kind of lay down the basic foundation and then y'all just kind of go from there, and Beckham will answer, them from there. But either way, leave a comment on that post so I kind of know what you guys are thinking. There's been a few comments already. I was not happy that Wolf called him the king of crime con, but Wolf, if you're listening, we'll move on. We'll move on. Not one of your best comments, but we'll move on. So yeah, make sure to comment on that. A couple of cat things that I wanted to show y'all that I recently got. So last weekend when I went up to that cat cafe in New Hampshire, it was called the Tipsy Tabby, and it was very small, but very, very cute. And as y'all know, your girl has to support. Of course, I bought a t-shirt there because I own an obscene amount of t-shirts. But I also got, and I don't know if the camera will pick it up, they had these really cute cat earrings where the cats are holding knives. And I thought it was I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, no, I have to get that. So I got that while I was there. And then I was literally out and about and I saw this magnet in a store when I was checking out. And I was like, oh my God, this is me. This is absolutely me. I'm hoping it picks up on the camera, but it says my family portrait. And it has this girl. She's 7 cats in the photo. So it's just one more than I have. But either way, I was like, oh, that is me in a nutshell. And I had to get it. I had to get it. So that is that. Other than that, I think that is kind of it for just kind of seeing what updates I have. So let's go ahead and see who's here. And we will just kind of kick off from there. James Watson, first and foremost. I already warned Beckham he'd better not be late. Thank you, James. I appreciate that. So I've heard. Hey, Clifford, good to see you. Kane, hello. Richard, good to see you. Dude, James Watson, what is it? Well, you guys go by Celsius, right? So today was actually a pretty warm day, but it's been super, super windy and super, super cold here in Massachusetts. But yeah, no, today was actually not bad. But I'm curious, what is it where you guys are Fahrenheit? Because I don't know Celsius at all. Hi, Chris James. Hello. Do the Epstein one. Well, make sure to vote. I literally go by the poll. And then if people DM me, through Instagram or Facebook, if they're not, some people don't do stuff on YouTube, which is fine. But I'll also do the posts on Instagram and Facebook, and they'll kind of message you there. So I add that all up, and then that's how I determine. So vote. James, 2 days after the kids. Oh my gosh, that's wild. That is wild. Hi, Karen Diamond. Good to see you. Yes, all the cats, everybody is good. All of the cats are good. So pause crossed that it stays that way because it was a rough 2 months with back-to-back cat stuff. But everybody's good. Thank you. I appreciate you asking. That sounds lovely, James Watson. That sounds lovely. Hi, Renee. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Really, though. I mean, I honestly feel like after that interview, we all might think that. We all might think, wow, this was the interview. We didn't need to learn all of that. Because, yeah, I got questions. I flat out said to Beckham, I was like, can we just do the whole thing on all of your Vegas trips and you just completely spill the dirt? I don't think he was amused when I suggested that, but I want to know. At least that's just me. Oh my God. That's funny. That is funny. Danny, you have a heart of gold. I love human. I honestly, no, thank you, but I just view it as I'm just one piece of trying to do my part in feline rescue work. Cause it the saying, it takes a village. Oh my gosh, it so takes a village. It so does. But yeah, I'm just doing my part and enjoying it along the way. So, but thank you, but not necessarily thank you. Just doing what I feel is the right thing to do. Let's see. See, I don't even remember him saying that. All I want to focus in on is like the Vegas stuff. At least what he like remembers, because like who goes to Vegas and like remembers everything they do, you know? Yeah, I'm right there. So yeah, if you want to be like, no audience questions, write that on the post. Because yeah, Beckham's keeping an eye on that. So because I can't pull anything over on him. So he's keeping an eye on that. So if I'm just like, oh no, the audience wants to do it. And like if people write, no, Dan, or vice versa, he's going to know that I'm lying. So leave your comments if you're like, we as the audience want to ask the questions. Then put that. So anyway, last shout out to friend of the show, and he's probably going to kill me for saying this, to friend of the show and friend in real life, Corey Novak. He was so beyond generous and sent me this cute little mug for Christmas, and I'm obsessed. I just don't want to spill it on my computer here. Fresh out of box. I saw it and I was like, oh my God, does he know me or does he know me? So yes. And of course I have a straw just so I don't get my lipstick on the cup, because it's like, yeah, that would ruin the vibes. So thank you, Corey. I love this. Like, love it, love it, love it. So anyway, let's get started. Oh. You know, if you were on camera, maybe I would entertain that question, but you're not. Let's get started. And a serious note before we kind of jump into the week's kind of news. I did do a post on YouTube, so y'all might have already seen it. I did a post on Instagram. I did a post on Facebook. So let me pull up the photo if y'all haven't seen it. And so like we're actually like, this is very, very serious vibes right now, right? So one of my podcast girlfriends, so Jen Rivera, so her aunt is missing and she and her family are trying to do everything to locate their aunt. So Jen is the co-founder, and just so you guys have some context of who my friend Jen is, co-founder of Fire Eyes Media LLC. She is also the host of the Unseen Truth podcast and Case Recovered podcast. So her aunt went missing. So Linda Kathleen Brown went missing, and it's been several days now and they have not heard anything. And I'll just read this to you if you guys aren't able to see exactly what's written on there. But again, I did do a post and post the picture so anybody can take that and share it, or follow Jen Rivera on social media for the updates about her aunt. So she is missing from the Chicago, Illinois area, specifically the Bronzeville area. So Linda Brown is 53 years old. Date of birth, September 4th, 1972. She is 5'7", 140 pounds, hair color brown and eye color brown. So Linda was last seen January 3rd, 2026, so just a few days ago, leaving from her Bronzeville neighborhood. She was headed to the Wicker Park area for an appointment with her acupuncture doctor, but she never made it to her appointment and hasn't been seen or heard from since. She was driving a 2021 blue Honda Civic, license plate number C as in Charlie, X. I can't think of a word that begins with X right now, but that's okay. 57470. I'll repeat, CX 57470. So if anybody in the Chicago, Illinois area has any information, her family and the police are urging anybody to contact number 773-444-8243. I'll repeat that, 773-444-8243. And again, my friend Jen Rivera, she is posting updates pretty regularly on her social media. So follow her for updates, but also she's an amazing podcaster as well. So follow her for that. And it just sucks because I'm like, I haven't plugged her podcast yet on this channel. And I like feel so bad like plugging her social media now at like such a horrible time like this. But at the end of the day, the more eyes that are on this case, the better. So we are all hoping that she is found safe. So any type of sharing that anybody can do is beyond appreciated. So, okay. And I will keep everybody posted on that too. Anytime Jen has been posting updates, I've been sharing them. So keep an eye out for that as well. All right, just seeing where you guys are in the chat. Free the Beckham. Oh, Christ sakes. X-ray. I didn't even think of that. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Clifford. Yeah, I saw the X. I was just like, mine's blank. Can't think of it. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. So typically, I don't really talk about mass shootings, school shootings. In regards to like back when I covered cases more so, I definitely would not do that. In regards to like the true crime and chill format, depending on what's being discussed, I do think there is something of value in kind of discussing what's going on. So there are actually 2 cases tonight in regards to that we will be talking about and updating because, yeah, it's very in the news right now and I think should be talked about. Hey, Paul. So the first one that I'm going to talk about, and let's see, Uvalde. So, and the reason I'm talking about this is the trial is of the officer who was on site who did not respond in the school officer, I should say, in the way that he should have in regards to whether there's a big divide, whether he should be on trial right now. This trial is the first of its kind, and it's been very interesting so far what has been happening. And that's why I'm like, okay, we really need to talk about it because I do feel that this sets a big precedent going forward because sadly, the world that we're in, it's inevitable in regards to me saying going forward. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So the trial started for Adrian Gonzalez. So he started this. So the trial started Monday. Come Tuesday, Wednesday, everything was at a standstill. It was actually incredible because I'm following along and I'm like, what is happening? So the trial started and right away, everything stopped and the news was it could result in a mistrial. And I'm like, how the fuck did that just happen in like not even 24, 48 hours? So what happened was Judge Sid Harley, who was overseeing this trial of the former school police officer who is accused of abandoning children during the massacre. The trial, again, it stopped abruptly Tuesday, and the jurors were told do not come back on Wednesday. In the meantime, so what happened on Wednesday was Judge Harley was addressing legal matters with the lawyers for the prosecution and the defense surrounding testimony from a witness that happened on the first day of the trial, which was Monday. So Stephanie Hale, she was the 3rd grade teacher at Uvalde that day, and she testified that she saw the gunman on the south side of the school and that she saw dust kick up on that side of the school, which potentially indicated that that's where the shots were fired. So defense lawyer Jason Goss, during cross-examination, said that Stephanie did not tell police or a grand jury about seeing the gunman or seeing that dust kick up when she spoke to investigators after the shooting. So Stephanie Hale was then allowed to listen to the interview that she gave investigators shortly after the shooting. And she was able to listen to that without the jury present. And that's key here, without the jury being present. So then the defense asked Stephanie, would she now agree that she never told the investigators that she had seen the gunman or the dirt flying up? And she said, correct. So most importantly, after this, Stephanie was then asked by the defense if during preparation for the trial, did she tell the prosecutors details about now remembering seeing the gunman, seeing that dirt kick up, etc. And she said, quote, "I believe so, yes," end quote. So the defense then said if Stephanie had reported this to the prosecution, then the prosecution is by law required to hand over that information to the defense under US law. Quote, "This is a trial by ambush," end quote, the defense said in court. They are evoking the legal requirement, again, that the prosecution needs to hand that over to the defense and not be surprised by not surprising the defense with evidence by withholding it. So Uvalde County District Attorney Christina Mitchell, who's overseeing the prosecution, she told the judge that Stephanie Hale never told the team the specific location where she had seen the gunman or that she saw dirt flying. So that's where that stood initially. And I just want to give a little bit of a background about the gentleman who is on trial. So Mr. Gonzalez, he has spent a decade as the Uvalde City police officer before joining the school's district force about a year before the shooting occurred. He was charged in 2024 with child endangerment counts according to the indictment, which said that he, quote, "failed to engage, distract, and delay the shooter," end quote. And that he also failed to, quote, "follow his active shooter training to respond to the gunfire by advancing towards the gunfire," end quote. So each count carries the possibility of 2 years in prison to run concurrently. So not consecutively, but concurrently. So while we were waiting for what the judge was going to decide, I was kind of looking through and listening to a lot of kind of legal social media trial experts in regards to how this might have played out. I honestly thought there would be a mistrial. But the judge ruled on Wednesday, and it was late Wednesday, that the testimony was not intentional, but it was negligent, and denied the mistrial. So the trial will continue on as is, and we will see from there. Again, why it kind of stood out to me was this is a trial that is very much the first of its kind, and just to have so quick, like almost like a mistrial right away. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening? So I will keep you guys posted on this. If this is a trial that y'all are interested in me recapping, I will be watching it unfold just for my own kind of knowledge about it. But again, I know there are some cases, you know, especially ones like involving kids, for example, where as an audience, I respect you guys, where if you're like, Danny, this is a little too much for us, then I respect that. So if this is one that you're like, no, we do have an interest, we want to see how it goes, I will absolutely update y'all on it. But otherwise, I will just kind of watch it for my own knowledge. So just keep me posted on that. But that is basically the update on that. So let's see where you guys are in the chats. Let's see. All I know is Paulcast came in at one point. Hey, Tony Stewart, good to see you. Sports, I'm not a sports fan of anything. So, sorry. Beckham's chirping. You know, Beckham, it's so funny how you have so much to say in the chat and you're not on camera, but that's okay. Okay. See, if you were on camera, we could talk about this, but okay. All right, so Clifford says, Beckham, I'm surprised at the difference in how LU trained to address active shooter versus how they train for similar in the Army. Oh, how we train for similar in the Army. Obviously different concerns, but we train to press the shooter. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, this is, yeah, you guys definitely have a lot of opinions on this, which totally valid. This is just, it's one of those things, right? We tried not to let the shooters get comfortable and dictate how things progressed. Thank you, Tony Stewart. Very, very kind. Thank you. Hey, K-Dog, Danny looks tired. So besides like the usual like Friday feeling, no, I'm actually not. I was very content reading right before I had to get ready to come on for y'all. So no, I was quite comfy with a cat. Did I have two cats on my lap? Either way, I always have a cat by me. And I was reading, so it was awesome. It was quite awesome. Tony Stewart, flattery will get you everywhere. Oh my gosh, I didn't. Oh, that's funny. All right. Let me send him the link. Oh, that's super funny. Here I'm like, where's Beckham? Yeah, I never sent him the link. That's so funny. I think that's my subconscious. That was just like, no. Do I really want him on here? Not really. All right, Beckham, sending now. That's funny. I don't think so. But then again, last time I said that, it was. So I don't know. All right. Beckham, link is sent. Okay. So the next one to talk about, Pamela Smart. So she is back in the news this week. And I was very surprised to kind of see her name in the headlines. And I'm like, wait, what? Why? And then I was reading through and I'm like, oh, really? So let's get into it. So Pamela Smart, she is serving a life in prison for orchestrating the murder of her husband by her teenage student in 1990, which I've covered on this channel way long time ago. Check that out if you didn't see that. So why is she in the news now? She is now seeking to overturn her conviction. Her lawyers claim that there was several constitutional violations. So the petition for habeas corpus for relief was filed this past Monday. Quote, Ms. Smart's trial unfolded in an environment that no court had previously confronted. Wall-to-wall media coverage that blurred the line between allegation and evidence. This petition challenges whether a fair adversarial process took place, end quote. So, before we move on, because there is more to be said, right away I'm like, was this, no court had previously seen this? Wall-to-wall media coverage? Not true. Back then, was it a little bit more rarer than like it is now? Oh my gosh, 100%. But to say that no court had previously encountered that, like, look back at the statistics, look back at when media cameras were allowed in trials, but let's move on. So in the petition, her lawyers argued that prosecutors misled the jury by providing them with inaccurate transcripts of recorded conversations of Pamela that included words that were not audible on the recordings. Among the words that they claim weren't audible, but in the transcript, were words like, quote, you had your husband killed, end quote, as well as, quote, I'm going to be busted, end quote, and then more importantly, quote, this would have been the perfect murder, end quote. Specifically the word murder in that sentence. So what was audible was this would have been the perfect. And then again, the word murder was inaudible, but it was in the transcript. Quote, modern science confirms what common sense has always told us. When people are handed a script, they inevitably hear the words that they are shown. Jurors were not evaluating the recordings independently. They were being directed towards a conclusion, and that direction decided the verdict, end quote. So that is what her attorneys are arguing. Her lawyers also argued the conviction should be overturned because the verdict was tainted by, again, what they're trying to argue, the media attention. And due to faulty instructions to the jury, they argued juries were told they must find that Pamela acted with premeditation and not told that they must consider only the evidence presented at trial. They say that the court gave her a mandatory life sentence without parole for being an accomplice to first-degree murder, despite New Hampshire not mandating that sentence for the charge. I feel like that last thing is just kind of like throwing in there like, well, I don't feel like it's as strong a point as some of the others that they're saying. And again, not that I feel that any of these points are like really like the one where it's like, oh my gosh, yes, this should be overturned. So one of the things that as this is unfolding and will be discussed more in the media is a quick reminder. It wasn't until 2 years ago, or if you want to really look at it, we're what, 9 days into 2026, so really just a year ago in 2024. That was when Pamela actually took, and some still don't believe the validity of what she's saying, but that is when she says she has taken full responsibility for her husband's death. So in a video released in June 2024, she said she spent years deflecting blame, quote, almost as if it was a coping mechanism, end quote. So again, this crime happened in 1990, and it wasn't until 2024 when she says she finally takes full responsibility. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think that her defense team has a chance in getting her up for possibly a new trial? I don't see that. They're not just going to overturn. The court will just not overturn. Could they deem that? Could they determine that maybe she's now eligible for parole? What do you guys think will happen? And most importantly, do you guys think that she has really taken accountability? When that broke, I remember me and Beckham talking about that when she's finally taken accountability. And yeah, don't believe it. Speaking of Beckham, hey Beckham.
Hey, welcome to the show. I'm here to chill and thrill.
I didn't realize we were doing the Beckham interview tonight. There's a lot I could say with what does that mean?
Oh man, my throat's hurting, but I'm here.
Well, welcome. Good to see you, even though you're an avatar. So I did say earlier, Beckham, that your interview, that people need to vote if they want the audience to kind of control that, or if they want me, or if they want a little bit of both. James Watson, I think, already had a question in the chat earlier about kind of what he wants to know from your interview.
Oh, what was that?
Do not answer it now, but his question is, I would like to hear more about that Mexican cartel wedding back in 2 years ago.
Oh, that was wild, man. That was really wild. That shit was like the movies, dude. Holy crap, that was wild.
Put a pin in it.
Well, I mean, you're talking on in the trip. There's dead bodies. There's the their wedding, and then there's like the cartel, just like literally down the walkway. Yeah, it was crazy.
So, folks, if you want to control the questions,
military, U.S. military guys there.
Yeah, because y'all know I'm a little bit more. I mean, with Beckham and like Paul, like obviously I'm a bit different, and Liz too when she's on, but I'm pretty respectful as an interviewer.
The best part of the reception was like at midnight they brought out a hot dog machine. Holy crap! Everybody loved that.
I feel like I have more questions as this is unfolding. Karen Diamond says, hello, Mr. Beckham. Hope you feel better soon.
Well, hello.
I don't even think he's sick.
I'm not sick. It's just like I was doing a show prior to this show, and for some reason, like when I was talking, man, my throat just kind of hurt. It was like I was just kind of talking too much or something.
Well, you know what?
I've done like 3 shows in a row.
Karen, is concerned.
Just done 3 shows in a row today.
For Christ's sake.
On different platforms.
What was the third?
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we're going to have a conversation after the show. All right. Nick Reiner, James Watson, you literally just walked into what we're talking about now.
So can we real quick like do a recap of what you've done in the last 30 minutes?
Recap. We talked about Pamela Smart. We talked about Uvalde.
Oh, Uvalde's crazy. That's when I was typing in the text message. Yeah, that's really sad.
Pay attention to you.
That's really sad. And you don't, again, like if you've never shot an AR-15 on full automatic at a shooting range or somewhere in experience wise, I can't explain to you what transpired that day in that school. And it was very, very bad. It was very, very just sad what happened to those kids, how they had to identify them. And it was all because the police failed to engage the shooter. They had shields. Haven't I shown you the shield that we had, like my unit has? I thought I showed you. They had shields. Now they have different size shields. So depending, I don't know whether they had a full body shield or the one you can kind of hold over your shoulder and you can kind of move through, you can make your way, right? You can hold your way through through how you're engaging a shooter. I believe they had at least 1 to 2 shields. All they had to do was engage the shoot. I mean, and I'm not saying it's easy to do, but that's what they're paid to do. That's what they're trained to do, right? And to engage the shooter to at least distract him enough to like maybe he decides to do something different. Maybe he just is compelled to just shoot, kill himself, right? Or just something to at least try to save the kids. And that did not happen. It took I believe it took a off-duty DE agent that responded to the call. He was getting his haircut and he responded. He got there and he's like, "What's going on?" And then the leadership of the police told his police officers to stand down. Again, they should have, I'm not going to say they should have. I'm not saying that because I'm not there and whatever, but
I'll say it. There's a lot that should have happened. Protocol-wise, that wasn't done.
Correct. You're correct. And the police could have taken upon themselves, broke the protocol and gone and tried to do something, right? But they didn't. They stayed back. And I don't want to say what happened, but I'm telling you, an AR-15 on full automatic can do, it's really nasty what that gun can do to a human being, to a human body, an adult body. Just imagine what it could do to a little body. Okay. And that's what's sad because the parents had to identify their kids that were deceased based on like shoelaces or shoes and not literally their deceased bodies, which is really sad. And they were, some of these police officers, of course, were fired, and some of them were criminally charged, and that's why this guy is in trial. And the Texas Rangers had to come in and take over the investigation completely because the investigation wasn't going to be done, probably not done correctly. If of course, you had a district attorney that would have to have done everything, but it was just really bad. The Texas Rangers had to take complete control of the investigation, and then of course, charges started happening, firing started happening, and all kinds of stuff. So,
yeah, it's like I said earlier, this is kind of the first of its kind in regards to a trial like this, and even with another school shooting, the parents of Ethan Crumley, they being held accountable and going to court. I feel like as more and more of these occur, the
chief got fired and lost his pension. I know that. I think I remember that.
But yeah, as more of these occur, we're kind of seeing not just the shooter being held and going to court and to be held accountable, but also the family, law enforcement. I just feel like things are going in a way where it really hasn't before. Again, I think a precedent is being set, and it's just to see it unfold as it is. It's very interesting because there's a lot of moving parts to it.
The police that was a on site for the shooting that happened in Florida. I forgot the name of that one. It wasn't that long ago. There was an officer on site. He failed to engage. He got fired and lost suspension. And he was only like, he was only like a couple of years from retirement or something. Maybe, but that's what you're there for. That's your job.
Mm-hmm.
And he hid too. He didn't engage the shooter. It's the one in Florida. I forgot
Parkland?
Yeah, I think, was it Parkland? Yeah, I think it was Parkland. Yeah. Yeah, he got fired, terminated, and lost his pension. And he just needed like a couple of more years to retire. So, again, he got, don't do it if you're not going to be able to fully to serve and protect the public.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm curious to see how this unfolds. And I said to everybody while you were backstage waiting for a link I never sent you, that we typically don't talk about this type of thing. But if this is kind of one where people kind of want the updates of how the trial is going, I'm more than happy to do so.
If you saw pictures of if you saw pictures of that crime scene, it would anger you to the fullest.
I mean, even without pictures, it's horrific. But yeah, there's no words. There's really no words.
There isn't. It was really, because that shooter had an AR-15 and it was on full automatic, and you only can imagine what happened.
So we will see how that unfolds. We'll go from there. And I think kind of as the trial unfolds a bit more and it gets more in depth, because again, things got paused this week with possible mistrial, like right off the bat. I know, Clifford, for example, you in the chat, you seem to have like a lot of
he knows he's shot. Yeah, he knows
right.
what
and
that
then
can do.
You bring in expertise to certain parts of like the law enforcement aspect that I don't have knowledge of, and I think we can really have some really great, meaningful conversations around this if that's something that we want to kind of do going forward. So, and then lastly, Beckham, I kind of talked about Jen's aunt that's missing.
Oh yeah, that's tragic. Real quick, I'm hoping for the best. I don't know if you want to go into share any details or not, but
yeah, I posted the flyer, read through it. They did a search today. They started. Right. Jen is documenting everything on her social media. Jen Rivera, on Instagram, on Facebook. Again, friend of mine. My heart goes out to her and her family. But I will say also, to have Beckham got to meet her at CrimeCon and when we were there, and I know I'm always just like, oh, my group of podcast girlfriends, and but to be a part of just a group of women where we're all content creators and we don't just support each other with the content we do, we support each other behind the scenes in our real life, in our personal life, and with stuff that has nothing to do with true crime. And that, obviously, I don't talk about that on camera because it's just, it's private conversations between friends, right? But to have, to see how the true crime community, if you will, has really come forward to help spread the word for Jen and her family. And she's been on, had the opportunity to go on other creators' podcasts to kind of talk about that and update about it. It's just, to have the type of people that are to be able to support each other. It's friendship like that is just, you can't say enough about it. And I'm just hoping that she is found. And again, let me post that flyer up one more time. Yeah, I'm just hoping that Linda is found safe. So again, any information, y'all, I've posted this flyer. People can take it, screenshot it, save it, post it on your own social medias. Would be greatly appreciated. So.
Well, it's been 6. I believe you said it's been 6 days, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they might send the crews out again for the next couple days, and then hopefully there's still a chance, right? Just be realistic. Hopefully, maybe she's somewhere, and she contacts family. because I think after a certain amount of time, it'll be considered a cold case. And then after that, you have these groups that are out there that'll help and try to locate and try to research and things like that. So hopefully that, maybe she contacts the family soon and that she's safe and okay.
Yeah, we want the best case scenario. We want the best case scenario. Absolutely. So, but yeah, Jen and her network and the community are doing boots on the ground searches. That they did that today. Jen has been documenting that, and they're going to do the same thing tomorrow. So if you are in the Chicago area and you want to help, or if you're not, but you know people who are in the area, send this over to him and be like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Cancel your plans. Go help.
Well, there's certain ways I can help, but once it becomes a cold case, so you have to let law enforcement at least have the chance to do their job and and they have resources, right? I mean, that kind of thing. So, like I said, hopefully she comes. Maybe hopefully she just is safe and contacts her family and she gets back home.
Yeah. Shelly, I saw you sneak in there. I didn't want to interrupt Beckham. Why? I don't know.
Getting some respect tonight. Thrill and chill tonight.
God. Tony Stewart, I see you missed the magnet I showed earlier that I got. I saw this when I was out and I'm like, oh my God, that's like me in a nutshell. My family portrait. It's just
hey, I heard you because I've been in the chat because you forgot to.
I'm never going to hear the end of this.
You forgot to send me the link on both platforms, and then you didn't even see when I said, "Hey, Danny, you forgot to put the link." I'm in the imaginary green room. Hello, at least you could have left me an apple and a water.
At least I could have been a doll and got your coffee too, right?
But like really heated right there, right? So yeah. So anyway.
Oh Christ.
No, I was gonna ask you real quick. You were showing off like a cup that
Corey
sent you. I couldn't see it fresh out of that is you. That is funny.
Love it.
Yeah.
When I first opened it, I saw the back and it's just pink and sparkly. I'm like, cute. And then I saw the front. I was like, oh.
Dude, Corey likes to travel to different places and visit different sites and things like that.
So
he probably randomly saw that. He's like, oh, that's gonna be something for Danny. I can get her. That's pretty cool.
Love it. I mean, not necessary, but super amazing. That is amazing. We have a question. Clifford says, Beckham, do you know if the shooter was using a 5? And I'm probably not even going to pronounce this right, so there you go.
But I do know that I hate to bring it up, but I hate to say that it was very, very destructive, if you know what I mean.
All right, we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's one thing I do want to say, in regards to if you guys are we do want to hear about how the trial's unfolding. I also am respectful of y'all in regards to when it comes to things with children. I would purposely work with doing the notes for the kind of recaps in a sensitive way and in not discussing those specific details because we don't want to relive, re-traumatize, especially re-traumatize, because it brings up a lot. It brings up a lot of emotion for a lot of people, and especially those who are sadly, a part of this case and a part of that trial. The victims' families. So, just want to be respectful of that. So, okay. So, who was it? James Watson. You mentioned Nick Reiner. So this was something when the news broke earlier, right away, I was like, Beckham, Liz, what do we think? So Nick Reiner, he was in court on Wednesday. So remember, he hired defense attorney Alan Jackson. Alan Jackson has an incredible resume in his career.
Calm down, Danny.
What do you mean calm down? Do you know who Alan Jackson has represented? Like
OJ. Oh, I'm sorry, not OJ.
He was not part of that. He was part of a dream team, but it was the Karen Reed dream team.
Yeah, but he's not. Let's calm down. He's not Racehorse Haynes. Calm down.
Well, who is?
I'm just playing. Yes.
So
we know he went right from the Karen Reed right into this big one.
He did.
Right in.
He did. So we were all like, okay, Alan Jackson is representing him.
Yeah, well, first of all, everybody was like, how's he going to get paid? How's he getting paid? How is this guy affording the price tag to Jackson, right?
Mm-hmm. So we don't necessarily have that answer, but there's speculation in regards to what happened. So Wednesday, news broke. I was literally at work on lunch and just wrapping up, and then the notification came on my phone. I was like, this can't happen. I need to know. Hi, Beckham. Look at you. Got to angle your camera a little different. Your face is like half cut off.
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
So Alan Jackson told a judge on Wednesday that he, quote, had no choice, end quote, but to withdraw as the attorney for Nick Reiner. Alan did not give, I'm just going to call him AJ. AJ did not give the reason for his withdrawal. As for why he is off the case, news media was told the family will be releasing a statement as soon as the proceedings are over. For now, Nick Reiner will be represented by a public defender.
You said defended.
That's did. Funny. I'm sorry. Represented by a public defender. So keep that in mind, right? So Nick will still not enter a plea. When he does, he is still not to date. When he does, it's likely he's going to plead not guilty by reason of insanity. When he was in court on Wednesday and AJ was, in there saying that he was not going to be representing Nick going forward, Nick was just smirking, which a lot of media that was there were saying that. So I'm like, okay, that's a very interesting thing, right? So the next court date is February 23rd. So right away, it's like, why is he withdrawing? Why is he withdrawing? So Vinnie Politan, who I swear by, made a post, and I thought it was very interesting. So let me read that. It says, quote, Alan Jackson proclaimed Nick Reiner is not guilty of murder on the day he stepped down as his attorney. He is leaving for reasons he cannot ethically divulge. My guess, perhaps some conflict of interest regarding the payment, the money source, and witnesses in the case. Nick Reiner now has a public defender, which tells me he has no access to money. Alan Jackson said they investigated the case around the clock for 3 weeks, and he is not guilty, and you can take that to the bank. Strange day, end quote. Beckham, what are you thinking about this?
If you can't, like I said, right off the bat, Jackson has this persona. He's very popular. He has the resume and the record behind him. He's done it. He's pretty good, right? And rightfully so. He would have probably earned an amount. He can say, hey, this is my price, to take your case. Again, when it first came out that he was representing him, a lot of people were like, well, how is he affording everything? His parents paid for everything. He had a credit card, this or that, right? How does he have access to money right off the bat when the funerals hadn't even happened yet? So, right. Like insurance, there's all kinds of stuff that's going to happen, right, with that. And the other kids would have probably more say into that, and all kinds of stuff going behind the curtain of the family, right? Whatever's going on back there, arranging everything. But which, if you've ever had to do, man, it's a lot of work. It'd be sad and troubling at the same time, because you just lost a loved one and you're having to deal with everything. It's a lot. It can be a lot. So anyway, yeah. And to, also, to his daughters, I think there's there's 2 daughters, mm-hmm. Right? 2 daughters.
Was there
another son? I'm not sure.
4 kids? I think
possibly. Yeah. So I'm telling you, man, it's really hard on them right now. having to do everything, and with of course the circumstances. But yeah, so again, it's am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised with this what happened, because how is he going to pay him? And I don't believe that Jackson would take this case just to take it.
No.
There's no way. Like, you know,
No.
he could be doing something, of course, handling another type of case or whatever. But yeah, so I'm not shocked by it. I was just initially surprised in the sense that why? What was the reason for it? Right. So, yeah, it's not shocking, but definitely, you know, now we'll get to see what's really going to happen now with good luck with that, a public attorney.
Yeah. So James Watson saying, I assume Jackson was working for Reiner pro bono just to get the publicity, but
No,
apparently Jackson.
I don't,
No.
there's no
He
way,
worked
man.
the
Yeah.
retrial for Karen Reed pro bono. All of her attorneys did. And I mean, yeah, going into that, we knew like all of the, you know, David Yannetti, Alan Jackson, Bob Alessi, like walking, Liza Little, walking away from that. I mean, their price points, you know, just skyrocket.
There you go. That's
Rightfully
a good,
so.
yeah, that's a good, how you said it. I like it. Price points, right? To where you can demand at this time, he's done. Like I said, man, he's one of the tier top guys out there. All right. So he can demand whatever price he wants.
And he was, I mean, he had an incredible resume, but even before the Karen Reed trial, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and Karen Reed is still paying that from the first trial. So, like, even though all her attorneys, you know, worked for her pro bono for the second trial, she still owes money on the first. So, but yeah, I did find it interesting that he was given a public defender. I think that spoke volumes because, again, like Beckham had kind of mentioned in regards to everything happening so quickly and all the family members, and right away Nick Reiner hires Alan Jackson, and it's
pretty quick, man. It was pretty fast.
Yeah, which means he possibly had access to, or thought he had access to, the family money. And because had he gone with just a different defense attorney that he had to pay for, you know, that was covered and being paid for out of pocket, I wouldn't be questioning it the same way I do now. But now when I'm like, all right, I think that's speaks volumes. But at the end of the day, it drags this on even longer. So again, he'll be in court in February, Nick will. He's expected to again plead not guilty by reason of insanity, which we're all, I think everybody who's been following this is like, okay, that's what we're expecting. So, Kate, let's see what you guys are saying. Kate, it's very difficult for a parent to not want to protect their kid. I mean, I can't say I know from experience. I can't say that, but that's one of the things that's really being discussed is even though he had really struggled with addiction and mental health issues throughout a lot of his life, his parents, I mean, Nick had access to a lot of things that the average person might not have had.
Right.
His parents were willing to constantly
oh my God.
do what they needed to, and were in the financial position to help do what they needed to do.
The thing is, man, it's like, this could have gone in lots of different ways. I don't want to get into all the other stuff, but like what, you know, the doctor that he saw, a psychologist he was seeing made a decision, and he could have made a better decision. You know, what I mean, I don't want to get into all that, but you know, that would probably be for another show. But later, when we discuss what, you know, during the trial and all that.
Because everything's going to be examined.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Tony Stewart saying just plead guilty and take your chances. You get parole after 30 years. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but that's not going to happen in this. Clifford is saying not to victim blame. However, Nick's parents protected him from consequences throughout his life. And if they let him go to jail earlier, maybe it could have been avoided. And I think
we'll get a lot of more information, more inside to the family and how they probably dealt with things in the trial. I'm pretty sure things will come out.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, there's a lot of viewpoints on this, and it sucks all the way around. It's just horrific all the way around the way this played out. But yeah, once the trial starts, I mean, the amount of mental health professionals that are going to be called in for this trial, like, brace yourself now. Like, that's what this trial is going to be. Because they're not saying, there's no deny. I mean, even though he hasn't pledged,
we're going to find it.
It's not that he didn't do it.
Yeah.
They're already setting up for the mental health.
For why he went. Yeah. So it's almost like we probably will get some dirty laundry of the family. No family's perfect. Everybody's got their family issues, but unfortunately, that's what we're going to have to hear probably more so in this case.
Yeah. So next up on the docket,
everybody has that crazy drunk uncle.
or several, or everybody has that family member, and
they do.
You just don't know you do, because it's really hidden.
It's crazy.
Mark my
some of us get to meet them when you're younger.
It's so interesting when you're a kid and it's like, oh, that's Uncle so and so, or that's Aunt so and so.
But you don't know what
older.
You don't know what.
Get it.
Yeah, you don't know all the trouble they've caused the grown-ups in the family, and what they're putting them, the stress and all this, because you're just a kid, you don't know.
Yeah.
He'll give you money. He'll be like, oh, here's $5. Go buy you some baseball cards.
Always the one as a kid you look to as like the cool aunt or the cool uncle.
Yeah.
And then when you like grow up and kind of really like learn, you're like, oh shit.
Or you see the family drama unfold at a function.
Tony Stewart, I was always the black sheep of the family. Tony, I am not surprised by that at all.
That's funny.
Yeah, but that's so funny. Not the black sheep here. You are welcome with open arms. Not by me, but with by others, but not by me. Just kidding. Speaking of black sheep of the family, you know what, Tony Stewart? Thank you, because that was the perfect transition into the next person. Brian Koberger.
Oh, God. We're back to
I
that
already
guy.
Beckham was like going to have a hissy fit.
Oh, I wonder if you brought up a thing I saw about him today. Hold on. Let me go look at the docs.
Yeah, if Beckham read the Google Doc that I spend so much time working on during the week for the show. So Brian Koberger's sister.
Oh, you don't have it. You don't have it, so I'll get to talk about another point.
What are you talking about? I don't have it. It's in the notes. I'm looking at it right now.
No, but you don't have the point I'm going to talk about that I saw today.
All right, so Brian Koberger's sister, Mel, she has spoken to the New York Times. So if anybody has read this, then you kind of already know where this is going. So that New York Times article actually revealed some interesting information. I'm just going to recap the things that I took away from it that were of what I felt important. The article did recap the crimes that happened, a bit of the trial. So I'm not going to go over that because we've already discussed that at length. So Mel said she revealed that she said to her brother following the murders, in context, she said this to him not knowing that he was the one that committed them. She said, quote, Brian, you are running outside and the psycho killer's on the loose. Be careful, end quote. According to Mel, her brother Brian thanked her for checking in on him and assured her that he would be safe. Mel said she was shocked after learning that Brian was the one that was arrested in connection with the murders. She says, quote, I've always been a person who has spoken up for what was right. If I ever had a reason to believe my brother did anything, I would have turned him in, end quote. So again, that's what I took away. And I also want to add just the point, because when I read this, I was like, oh, this actually reminds me a little bit. And I know there have been a lot of parallels with BTK Dennis Rader, Bind, Torture, Kill Killer. So in regards to when Mel is saying, be careful, there's somebody out there, and him saying, I assure you I'm going to be safe. He says that because he knew. And the kind of connection that I'm making here with Dennis Rader is Kerry Ross and his daughter, has been very open about growing up with her father's BTK, but not knowing he was BTK. So when a lot of the murders were happening in their area, and of course, as a family, you're scared. As a child, you're scared because all these things are happening around you and no one's safe, right? But her father would always say, like, don't worry, you're okay. Don't worry, you're safe. And he would show her how to protect herself. And then, of course, in hindsight, he knew that we were going to be okay because it was him. And he taught us how to protect ourselves from people like him. So I'm just kind of making those connections. But Beckham, what did you have from this?
So I believe that some of the families of the deceased, the victims in this case, are going to sue Washington State and the department, criminal justice department, or I'm not sure exactly what particular, but just the college in general, maybe, because they feel they should have noticed something to potentially stopped him from committing these crimes, something like that. So that's interesting, because we talked about, remember how we used to talk about how he had access to the within the sect of the program that you could like I guess rent it out or whatever, like, to the house that they have available to case a crime scene so that you can practice and get educate your go through that part of the program to where you're casing an actual crime scene, which I'm pretty sure they've it's a really big part of that program. So somebody probably gave him the idea that they should sue the school. I'm not sure how that would go. Not sure how that would transpire, or I'm sorry, how that would be looked at. Because he did have a professor that is really known in the criminal justice world, right?
Dr. Catherine Ramsland.
Yeah, right. And again, I don't know. It's just kind of something that's interesting and intriguing, and I want to actually keep up with it because I'm curious to see how that's going to unfold if they do sue the college for specifically for the criminal justice program, that they should have seen signs and this and that and potentially contacted law enforcement, or I don't know. I'm not sure,
I want to add that.
It's really interesting though. And I believe they're going to sue them if they haven't already.
So K-Dog saying that sounds like a stretch. Tony agrees. Clifford saying K-Dog, then that's the point where the parents have to let the system do what they can. So if we're going with the mindset that you're describing, they should have seen something in regards to, are they accountable in some way? I mean, at the end of the day, and again, I'm not tied to, I want to say this with the utmost respect. At the end of the day, like, Brian Kohberger did this, and the blame is on him. He made the decisions that he did that evening when he murdered those four kids. And if we're going to step back and say, the school should be held responsible, they should have known. So then should his parents be sued? Should his sister be sued?
That's true.
Like, there's kind of should
it's one of those shoulda,
friends
woulda, coulda. It's one of those shoulda, woulda, couldas type of thing.
Because there's a lot, there's a lot of other people that probably have a more intimate knowledge of him. It's tough. It's tough. I see what you're saying in regards to the families, that looking at that. And it's always in hindsight, like, yeah, he was a bit strange and this and that, but like, it's a tough one. But I am, like Beckham said, I'm curious where this goes.
Yeah.
And we'll certainly discuss.
Will the college just want to be like, okay, we'll pay something or what? I mean, you never know. They'll just want to,
But then does that also start a precedent?
Yeah, I mean,
Or,
yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a
you
lot to
know,
uncover here, man. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. It's intriguing. That's why I'm interested to see how that unfolds in time.
yeah. Um, yeah, it's, oh man.
Because I know we talked whenever the trial was, or the trial, or the remember how it wasn't a trial yet, and we were talking about this and that, and how you talked about at one, whether the professor, the doctor, that she didn't want to talk about it
She
or something,
couldn't
right?
get a
But
gag order.
she might have to talk about it now. That'll
I,
be
yeah.
wild.
I mean, had it gone to trial,
Oh, she would have. Yeah, she probably would
she
have.
would have been
Yeah,
called
right.
for
So now
sure.
we'll have to dive. We'll have to dive into that psychology part of it. Now that's where it's going to get really intriguing.
She did after he pled guilty. She did, and we talked
That's
about it.
wild to me, though.
It
To
was like
start
a
see now, I'm
2-minute
thinking about it.
interview she did
Yeah.
somewhere.
See, that's going to be. Man, I'm telling you, man. If this thing goes forward, she'll have to probably say something about it. At least, of course, make a statement, talk about it, and that's what it's going to be. That's where I'm intrigued about how she'll kind of like process all of it. Or I'm pretty sure she had to have done that. How she already went through the whole thought process. Thinking
Yeah.
about everything. How she was teaching, and how he was probably like taking notes from the point of like, was he staring at her, was he analyzing everything? I mean, I don't know, there's so many different ways this thing could go, and
Oh,
her and how
well
she
said.
thought of her thought process and everything, right?
It's difficult to imagine what anyone could have done to prevent it. Right. I mean, and it falls on Brian Koberger. Like I that's where like I'm like, I don't want others to be blamed for his choices, because then it from like that he had 100% accountability in this. That's what drives me nuts when someone does something and they say they were just a kid. I know. Trust me, when I was at like 18, 19, 20, 21, I was like, I'm an adult. Like, but like, when you look back, it's like, they didn't even get a chance to like start their lives. But like, yes, legally, were they a kid? No, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Who's not a kid? Beckham. Far from it. Far from it. But I'll always be younger than you, Beckham, which makes me happy. Let's see, K-Dog. I think we got the Reiner and Koberger cases mixed up. Just because
wish I was this smart when I was 20.
Well said. Yeah, so we will keep you posted. If anything comes of what Beckham was updating us on. But yeah, you guys read the New York Times article.
I don't know if they're thinking about suing, or they were already in the process of doing it. So we'll have to keep up with it.
Cool. So 2 more cases tonight. Let's go with the heavy one, and then we'll end with the James Watson. We'll end with one that's for you. How about that? So again, this is an episode where we typically don't talk about these things, but the Brown school shooter. So there was 4 videos that he made before he ultimately took his life, and the videos have been transcribed and been made public. And I went through them, and everybody's talking about it for different reasons, but there were things that I was like, I think they kind of say a lot about the offender. So I do think there is a little bit of value in kind of discussing this. And again, where everybody's talking about it, and I know some of you have DM'd me about like, oh, have you read it? What are your thoughts? And which I've already gone back and forth, and I'm very open. Like if you guys DMing, you're like, hey, what's your thoughts on this? Like I'm very open about that. So I'm like, you know what? I've gotten enough messages where I'm like, I think people kind of want to talk about it. So here we are. So the man that is responsible for the Brown school shooting, and I'm probably going to butcher his name, and honestly, is what it is, Navis Valente. So he's the man believed to have killed the 2 Brown University students during a mass shooting before killing an MIT professor in Brookline. So he left behind the 4 videos. Again, they have been transcribed for the public. There are 4 videos. You can find the full transcripts online. I did do some takeaways from each of the 4 videos. We'll talk about like 2 and then we'll pause and see where you guys are in the chat and go from there, just because it's a bit long if I go through all of it. Beckham, did you read through the transcriptions at all?
No.
Okay. All right. So my overall takeaway is throughout all of them, he is very adamant in saying he expresses no remorse, and he doesn't offer actually much insight into his motives. It seems like he kind of starts to say, I hate this or I hate that, but like not saying that that was the reason for what he did. So there was real no takeaway. This is why he did the actions that he did. He also repeatedly throughout all 4 videos mentioned that he injured one of his eyes, which happened when he shot MIT professor Nuno. I'm probably going to mispronounce his last name. My apologies. Luario at close range. So in video 1, the things that I kind of took away from that were he says, quote, honestly, my only regret is this thing in my eye, end quote. And he laughs when he says it. He talks about how it's all over now. Now it's my turn to leave on my own terms. I'm not going to apologize because during my lifetime, no one has sincerely apologized to me. So right away, that statement, if you guys are not familiar with the term grievance collector, definitely look that up. It's a very common thing that we see with a lot of shooters in this case. In the briefest of nutshells, it's picture you have a backpack and someone has one day, they might not even have slighted you, but the person with the backpack feels though they've been slighted. So picture a rock that's being added in the backpack. And then they're going about their life and then something else happens. Add that other rock. So on and so forth and so forth and so forth. And now they have this heavy backpack of grievances that they have been carrying and collecting. And it gets to a point where they're like, I'm justified in what I'm doing. That's kind of my way of describing it, but it's definitely worth a read. It's a very fascinating thing. Again, grievance collector. And that's exactly what I took when he says, because during my lifetime, no one sincerely apologized to me. He doesn't emphasize what that is about, which to me means it's for more than one thing. He also goes on to say he has no interest in being famous. He says, quote, I don't give a damn about how you judge me or what you think of me. The overwhelmingly majority of things that are going to be said, I can already imagine. In fact, I was already reading. I particularly like Trump's shit to have called me an animal, which is true. I am an animal, and he is also. But I have no love. I have no hatred towards America. I also have no hatred at all. This was an issue of opportunity. I would really like to thank you for the only opportunity that you gave me here, which was this one. And look, that's it. I don't have anything else to say. We are finished. End quote. I think that says a lot. In regards to in video 1, him committing suicide, he says, let's see if I've got the balls to do this myself now, because it was hard as hell to do it to all these people. It was hard as hell. I envy those who are born, not by nature, but because of, and then he goes on to say, I envy those of having no difficulty doing it, and these people exist. That's what I really envy. So that was video 1. Just a little bit from video 2. He says, again, going on to say, I have no hatred toward America. I also have no love for it. I have no love. Actually, I think that coming here and coming to America both times that I did, he says was a fucking mistake. But to say that you were all extraordinary bad, that would be neither bad nor good. It's the same shit. And he's talking about how he wants to leave it. So any takeaway, Beckham, or anybody in the chat?
The dude's crazy.
It's interesting because he goes on to like, that's one of his things is like, I'm not crazy. He'll talk about that in the next video because he expects people to say you're crazy, you're mentally ill.
The thing is that the school Brown. That's another thing about Brown, and I know a lot of other stuff's happening in the news right now, but like Brown was not ready for this shooter. It's unfortunate that they decided administratively not to have the school with certain lighting, certain cameras and things that would have been more beneficial to the actual case, to protection of the students. But that's a whole other subject. But I hope that this, at least for the future, reminds society that, it's important to have certain measures put in place in public places to protect, to protect people in this new age that we live in now. It's unfortunate, but that's what we live in now, and things like that. I mean, talk about school shootings always happen. There was a school shooting at the University of Texas in the late '60s where they couldn't get to the shooter. The guy was in a perfect perch, location that was hard to get to him. That was in the late '60s, so the time doesn't matter. I do know, we know that it's happening more frequently, unfortunate now. So that's why you should have these measures put in place. But as far as this guy goes, I mean, we know where his headspace had to have been, and he's just making it known now and proving that point.
You touched on a lot of points there that were very well said. I just want to expand a little bit. So like you were saying, in this day and age, and there's no reason for not just schools, but for businesses to kind of proactively think like, this is unfortunately the world we live in, and we need to protect ourselves and protect our students, our customers, our employees, whatever it is.
Correct. Yep.
And with that being said, one of the things that we tend to hear all the time, and I get it to a point, is we never thought this would happen here. And that's one of the things that
what you just said. That's what you hear on reporting when it happens. You're like, we're in a small town. We're in this close knit community. We're in this, we're in that. We would have never thought it happened here. Exactly what you just said is what you hear people that report on it, or that are being interviewed that unfortunately had to be part of it. But yeah, I mean, again, it's something that you don't know where people's headspaces are at times, and anything could trigger anything mentally, and just that's a whole other subject there. But
it's. And that is, oh gosh, Beckham, I hate to give you so many compliments. It really pains me, but it is so well said, because one of the things, if y'all have been a long time Danny After Dark listener, I've always said people want monsters to look like monsters, and they don't. We, as a society, as people, want to be able to think we can spot the danger, but we can't. And I honestly think that when people let that notion go of, I'd be able to, if something was going on I'd be able to spot that. No. In some cases, are there things spotted that people don't report, or there's leakage information? That happens 100%. It does happen. But a lot of times, it's always Monday morning. What's the saying? Because I don't.
Quarterback.
Thank you. I was about to say it, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm about to say. It's so easy.
Now, are you talking about Monday morning quarterback? Like people think that they know something when they've never experienced it and talk about it, or Black Monday when NFL coaches get fired after a bad season.
There we go. There we go. I learned
Just-
something today, folks.
Yeah, it's called Black Monday, and it happened this past week. A bunch of NFL coaches got fired. You know, they get fired and whatever.
See, I wouldn't know. But
Anyway,
yeah,
sorry.
it's so easy, like in hindsight, when people are like, oh yeah, he was, or she, mostly statistically he, was this, or yeah, it was strange. And you know, it's like, okay. But with that being said, it was never at a point where somebody thought, I need to report something. Because most likely there wasn't, it's a tough thing. And we need to, as a society, like let go of the I can spot it type of mentality. I can spot when the person who would do X, Y, Z. No, we can't. We can't. So we just need to, like Beckham said, in this day and age, just be mindful and prepared and
Awareness.
proactive.
You have to be more aware.
Everywhere.
You know you know a term that I've used successfully in interviews
What?
the last like 4 years. There's two of them, but I think I've actually shared this with you because I wanted to help.
Proactive was one of them.
No, I wanted to help you with your career, but situational awareness is key. Now I got that from sports and playing sports, but you can always I'm telling you, sports is very good for especially kids, because it does teach you a lot of teamwork. It teaches you a lot of things, and it does help you later in life. But yeah, man, situational awareness is critical when it comes to critical thinking on the spot and critical critical execution of properly doing something on the fly. It helps you because you're more aware of not only of your surroundings, you can be more aware of somebody's personality that you're dealing with, or whatever. Situational awareness is key. So for those that are going to be going for a future interview, use that. You can use it in any circumstance. So I'm just giving y'all pearls here tonight.
Wow. Well said, Beckham. But like, and it's sad, but like, honestly, like my friends know this, my family knows this, that like anywhere, if I'm going somewhere, a restaurant or what, I always am like, where are my exits? Where are my exits? Like what's
especially being a female. I mean, of course, you guys are the targets. I mean, you guys, I'm sorry. And like I said, this is nothing new. If you're a female and you're going somewhere alone, even if it's a public place, you are a target. You need to realize that. And you might not know. It could be somebody that just is going through something, and they just, something happens mentally and they snap. And it could be anywhere. It could be at the library. It could be at your local coffee shop. It could be anywhere. Anything can happen to a female at any time. You could be out running by yourself, and you get attacked. Yeah, it's scary, and that's not anything that's happening just now. It's always been that way.
It's just like, as I feel, more and more things. Like, did I think that way at 18? No,
because you felt invincible. You were young.
And Columbine had happened by then.
Yeah.
But it was like, at the time it was reported as like, oh, this is like the first thing. And then of course, when you look at the research, like, no, this was not the first school.
No, I think there was one before that, I think somewhere, but the big one was at the University of Texas in the late 60s. That was a big one.
Yep. And Brenda Spencer too.
And police couldn't get to the guy. That was crazy. That was a crazy thing.
Yeah, he was up in the tower.
Yeah, he was at the tower, and he was like nicely perched. I don't know if he had a military background. I'm not sure. But
was it
But they could not get to him.
McDonald? For some reason, I'm thinking McDonald.
Yeah, but that was a major one, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that was in the late 60s, like 67, 68. Yeah. It was even before the whole love thing. The whole, the
whole love thing.
The whole like free love or whatever, the hippie movement thing. So
what do you keep looking at?
Oh, the game.
Okay.
The Indiana's pounding the shit out of Oregon right now. Pounding.
God. But yeah. All right. Let's see. Charles Whitman, thank you. Why was I Andrew McDonald? That he was another, and I can't think of. Oh gosh, I'm getting my people mixed up.
Sam Smith was probably in college at the time.
Sam Smith. Let's see. We have to stop villainizing people for questioning things. I know, and you see that too.
Yes, that's very, man. That is so key right there. Stop that.
Well, no, okay, think of present day. Because I listen to a bunch of podcasts, as you know. So Red Handed Podcast, they just released part 1 of Luigi Mangione. Part 2's next week. Which I know you guys are thinking, wait, the trial hasn't happened yet. But anyway, so they're covering that. And one of the things they talk about, and we've talked about before, is the employees who worked at the McDonald's where he was apprehended. When the employees called police to say, hey, like they did what law enforcement was asking. If you see someone, say something. They got death threats. Like it was horrible. So to go against
and a lot of people, you know, they see something happening and they're just like, I don't want to get involved. I'm not going to get involved. I'm just going to look away and mind my own business. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
I will say that. I think that's a new trend, unfortunately, in the last decade or maybe 15 years. Where they're like, I'm not getting involved. I don't want to be questioned or deal with it or whatever. And whereas, you know, before, you know, there was more of a society thing where we would help each other.
Or now I'm going to add to that, Beckham, or they just whip out their phone and record.
Or they whip out their
and you see something happening, and as you're watching through the phone of somebody who's recording it, you see all these other people standing with their phones recording it too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's
disgusting.
True. Great point.
But did anybody call police? No. I mean, it's just and then again, it's like, oh well, I didn't want to get this person in trouble, or you know, I would. Yeah, that is Clifford. That is so spot on what you just said. I can't state that enough. K-Dog saying things are as bad as you think they are, and they go out and get 100%. Assume the worst, hope for the best. Yep. Those postal killings used to happen all the time and then stopped. Guess fix it. Maybe it has to do with people.
I have something about this real quick. I did put that. Can you put that back up to James's comment? Yeah.
Okay.
So you know a little bit about my background back when I was during college. I did my senior criminology project on this point right here. So on the postal killings, and I think my time period was late 70s through the early 90s, where I had about 10 cases that I put through a study, and I interviewed and this and that, and I did a lot of analytics in the project. And the one thing at the final part of of my project was the constant variable that put all the cases together. And then remember, my cases were about 10 cases, and it was between the late 70s and early 90s. I think the last one was 1992, 93. So you're talking about maybe 15 years of different things that happened to that point. And the final variable that I was able to locate and say, here, this is why it most likely happened. But, and to James's point there, the one common denominator that all the cases had were the subjects they were all Vietnam veterans, all ex-military Vietnam veterans, and were suffering from PTSD. So that's the direction that my project went. This was the constant denominator, ex-Vietnam, all of them, every single one of them.
Interesting.
And PTSD, when PTSD was still kind of a thing, back then it was a newer thing. It's not like it is now. It's not as, emphasized and looked into it is now. And yeah, man, these management teams of these post offices and this postal, unfortunately, really push these people into committing these crimes. And it's unfortunate, but it was that those were that was the common denominator, and my everything, the analytics and everything went towards PTSD.
Interesting.
I was already ahead of the curve before the curve, darling.
Few comments here Clifford saying, I check every entrance at a restaurant. I evaluate every person in the place and never sit with back to her. Clifford, me and you are very much alike. And yeah. And it's like so sad that like that's just how we have to, think about that. There's a couple of comments here I missed. I wanted to go.
One of my cases that I studied that was in the part of my study, the guy stole a helicopter, a Huey helicopter.
Jesus.
And flew it and like landed it and took one guy, used a sword and slashed into his supervisor's shoulder and almost cut the arm off. These cases were bad. They of course you had shootings and stuff, but one guy went and stole a helicopter. He was a pilot in Vietnam, so he could fly it. One guy used a sword, and the guy that used a sword on his supervisor, he literally was like a month away from retirement.
Oh,
that was more in the I think late 80s, 90s. That was further down, but yeah.
Jesus. There was a comment for you. Where's the timestamp?
I was proud of my project, man.
Beckham expert analysis. Dude's crazy.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, K-Dog.
Yeah, that's said.
I was proud of my project, man. I think I surprised my professor too.
No, that was back in regards to when we were talking about the video transcripts.
Oh, okay.
When I asked your opinion, you're like, dude's crazy. Okay, you just answered the question. Beckham, since a lot of veterans get into the postal service, did you see any link to PT? Okay,
that was the variable.
So, okay.
And that was a learning experience for me at the time. I'm like early 20. I haven't lived life yet. To me, it was like, I was just like overwhelmed with like, wow, with all, looking at the analytics, processing the case, looking at everything, the evidence and just looking at, man, there has to be something common here. And like I said, it was my final, I did it as a senior. It was my final criminology project. And my professor, at the time, my professor, Professor Del Carmen, he was a 28, 29-year-old professor. He had a doctorate already from Florida State. I think I've talked about him before. He was extremely smart. He was he got his doctorate from Florida State at like 26 or 27 years old. At the time, he was one of the first people to ever decline a job offer from the FBI because he wanted to be a teacher. He didn't want to go into law enforcement. So, so he was a very young professor with a doctorate. I think in his doctorate program, they started out with 14 and ended up with 2, him and somebody else, they graduated. So that's how hard these doctorate programs are. You got to respect anybody that gets a true doctorate in any what do you call it?
Any field?
Any field, sector, whatever. Yeah, man. I mean, it's almost like you need like a photographic memory to go through it. It's super hard, man. Like Jesus, but anyway, yeah. But I learned a lot actually with this project because it taught me. Of course, you're learning about analytics at the time, and you're learning about things like that. But it really puts it into perspective when you really super deep dive something. Of course, I was young. I hadn't really experienced life yet, but just reading from the Vietnam books as a kid and things like that. Just it's unfortunate what happened because it was the people, the subjects in these cases did criminal acts, but and it's just unfortunate. But
Yeah.
They suffered from a true mental illness.
So Clifford expands a bit on this, and I think it just goes to show. So it's well said about how times have changed. So Clifford says, my dad and uncle had zero PTSD counseling when they came home. We had a week of it after every deployment.
Well, the suicides went up during the Iraq-Afghanistan wars, like in the what the after 9/11, of course, we went to attack Afghanistan 2002, 2003. So we were in that war for almost 20, well, like 15, 17, 18 years. So I think the statistics show that suicides from active members returning, active servicemen and women coming back from that, suicides skyrocketed.
Well, I also want to add to even
I want to say that's true.
Counseling in regards to first responders too. So even if you didn't go to war and you're just a first responder, firefighter, police officer, paramedic, back 20, 30 years ago, you never got any therapy, going to therapy or counseling for working the job. Never.
Yeah, right.
Now, I mean, there's still, I think, there's still a stigma with it, which is very unfortunate. But it's much more, it's getting more common to where it needs to be. So, I mean, that's just another layer too of think of what all these first responders see and have to deal with in their profession. And, they weren't getting that back then. It's just, yeah.
I've actually heard of some of these first responders that were first responders to these school shootings that left. They couldn't do it anymore.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So speaking of the school shootings that we talked about earlier, yeah, some of these first responders saw that and they can't do it. They couldn't do the job anymore. They had to leave.
Yeah. Clifford saying we got way better mental health services than my grandpa did after World War II Korea, or my dad and uncle did after Vietnam.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey man, thanks for your service, Clifford. Man, sorry that you had to deal with that and see a lot of the stuff that you saw.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And I hope that you're okay. I hope you're okay.
100%. I second that. What Beckham said. Thank you, Clifford, as well as thank your grandfather, your dad.
Your family, your whole family. Yes.
Whole family. Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So in regards to a little bit more of just the video, the transcription, so video 3 and 4, just to kind of wrap that up. So what the shooter was saying, let me get to my part of the notes. Okay. We were just where we just left off. He says, quote, I already know that you are going to say that I am mentally ill or some shit like that. That is all nonsense. That's all bullshit. Excuses. You are, those are all excuses for you to fuck whoever you don't care about. I am sane, end quote. Beckham, thoughts on that statement?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people feel the same way you do, but
he goes on to say, I think the world cannot be redeemed. To sum it all up, that is it. He says, I don't care about being famous, having a legacy, manifestos. I have absolutely no patience for that. Even though I would have a lot to say and write, I don't care. I'm not going to give you the right to that. That sentence right there, I'm not going to give you the right to that. Very self-centered, narcissistic.
Well, you see that when you study these cases, right? You see a lot of that, right? The narcissism.
Like, I don't owe anybody anything. And he's saying, I don't have the patience to write a manifesto and this and that. Well, you made 4 videos. So there's just such a contradiction in his mind. So it's almost like he's full of shit. But already putting himself on this, like, better than like, I'm not going to give you the right. Then why'd you make any of these?
Right.
So again,
he's so out of his mind that he's confusing his own self.
I don't think that he's saying that from being confused. I just think he's trying to put himself like I'm better than, I'll give you this, but that's not really why. I'm not giving you the pleasure of telling you why I really did it.
Right.
But you're leaving breadcrumbs, and like sometimes saying like bitching and then saying, but that's not it. And then bitching and saying, that's not it. You kind of did just say what it is. A bit of it. But anyway, and then the last video, video 4, there was just one part of it that I kind of thought was interesting. He says, I never wanted to do it in an auditorium. I wanted to do it in a regular room. I had plenty of opportunities, especially the semester. Again, I had plenty of opportunities, but I always chickened out, and I'd already explained why I did it this time. So it all went wrong. I think that outside is what turned out best. So again, from what he's saying, so this was not something he woke up and thought, I'm going to do it this one, like I'm going to do this today. He's admitting in his own words that this was planned. He had opportunities, but he chickened out. So when I hear that, people still lost their lives at the end of the day, but it's one of those, what were those other times or dates that he thought today is the day, but then chickened out?
Yeah, it's exactly right. Like why would he go through that process and be like, what enabled him to stop and say, wait, I'm going to wait longer. I'm going to wait this longer. I'm going to do it. Was he not ready? Maybe he fight within himself to say, man, maybe I shouldn't do it. Maybe I should wait. Do I need something else to trigger me? It's just so many questions, but yeah. That's interesting.
Grievance collector. I can't say that more than enough. So that's kind of my takeaway from this. Again, if anybody's interested and wants to read the full transcripts to all 4 videos, you can very easily find that online, and see if there's something that, maybe you took away from it, and maybe might I hate to say give some insight into what happened. Because, law enforcement and, people, FBI, people who study this for a living are, taking this and analyzing it and doing what they need to kind of make sense of this tragedy of what happened. But yeah, of course, these are the things that, I want us to have that open conversation here in the safe space here in this community of where we can talk about this and talk about, what, I read this and it pissed me off, or I read this in X, Y, and Z. Like, I want us to have that space. So, Clifford says, I'm good to go. Thanks. And it was my honor to serve. Love you, Clifford.
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it for your service.
And for the record, I got to see and do a lot of cool, fun stuff too. Yeah. But with a cost. So Danny is on point. Beckham, what? Can you read that again?
Danny's on point, in my opinion. Classic narcissistic behavior.
Oh, I just want to
I gotta use my radio voice.
Oh God.
I got the top 10 classics tonight.
God. We haven't talked. Who showed up in my not enough to talk about him. Maybe he'll be on the docket next week, Beckham.
Oh no. Not that guy.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, did you hear about Linguini today?
Every single day. But nothing where I'm like, oh, we have to talk.
Dude, how are they gonna present something so massive on a Friday? Courts don't do shit on Fridays.
I know.
Especially that Judge Bev lady. Oh, forget about it. Thursday was her Friday. Remember that?
Oh, Judge Bev Canoni. Oh, are you kidding?
Dude, Thursday was her Friday, man.
No, a Monday was her Friday. let's shut down at 3.
Yeah.
We're ahead of schedule.
Yeah, we're ahead of schedule. No rush. Yeah. Dude.
Thursday, let's
Yeah.
go till 1 and
Right.
then say I have a
Hey,
prior
man.
engagement Friday, but we're ahead of schedule. Oh my God,
Hey, man. Thursday was her Friday.
Oh God. Ooh. I see. I put those things in the back of my mind and I forget about it until you bring it up.
Well, I thought about it today because I was like, how is the defense going to do this on a Friday? On a Friday, and it's like, man, you would think it maybe a Tuesday. Okay, maybe not so hard on a Monday, but a Tuesday gets the ball. To me, a Tuesday really gets the ball rolling.
Oh yeah,
and you could be productive through a Friday, but not start on a Friday.
I know. Well, speaking of Judge Bev, that is the transition into the last thing of tonight. So James Watson, this is for you. Karen Reed.
I didn't even mean to make that transition. That's funny.
Yeah, no, thank you. You guys are with the transitions tonight. I love it. I love it. I see an opportunity. I'm like, oh, here we go. So, and I when I literally saw this article and was doing the notes, I'm like, James Watson. James Watson. You were just the only thing in my mind, James Watson. So, Karen Reed's SUV is officially going up for auction. Yes, that SUV, the one that she drove the night that her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, died. So that auction will be going up January 30th at 11 a.m. It's a 2021 Lexus LX 570.
Wow, dude, someone's gonna buy this thing too.
Oh, 100%.
Well, it's not funny. Sorry.
The bidding will be held live and in person, not online, and no remote bids. And the bidders must show valid ID and proof of $20,000 in bank funds to register and take part of the auction. The SUV has only about 12,000 miles on it. And after sitting stagnant for so long in the garage that it was held for, because again, there was the first trial and then the second trial, the SUV was in need of extensive repairs. So the articles kind of go into like a long list of stuff that had to be done. But in a nutshell, the car's battery was dead. The dashboard was in pieces. The vehicle had a rodent infestation as well.
Oh,
most notably.
Why? Ugh.
Yeah, I know.
I can tell you why.
Well, and then most notably, the SUV was missing the damaged right taillight. That taillight was talked about at length during the trial, so that had to be repaired as well. One of the reasons that I'm going to wrap up with the statement that I'm going to make is because I could see how some people could see this article and kind of hear this and be like, oh my God, and maybe you still have that feeling that it's murderabilia, if you will.
Oh, is that a term?
Yes.
Murderabilia.
I mean, granted, it was proven in a court that she was not guilty of hitting him. She did not hit him with the vehicle, but some people, again, this was a piece from the trial. It could be considered, But the SUV auction proceeds are actually going to be going to Karen Reed to help fund her defense fees, because even though she still has a lot of money to pay back for the first trial, she's still in court for the civil trials. So her attorney fees are just building and building. So all of the proceeds from this will be going to Karen Reed. I didn't put it in my notes here, but one of the things that I read was that typically these types of vehicles go for about $70,000, but they're expecting, because of it being linked to this case, that it's just going to way surpass that, which I'm sure it will. So there's that. So James Watson, if you want to get your passport up and ready and come to the States on January 30th, 11 a.m., bid for Karen Reed's SUV. Beckham, what's your thoughts on this?
This is wild. I mean, it's wild. And somebody's going to end up bidding. People will bid for it, and I don't even think they will. It's just, I don't know. They want it. It's going to be like sitting somewhere. But I mean, SUV only has 12,000 miles on it. That's still pretty new.
Right.
Depending on certain things within the car. But like you said, man, this is all about murderabilia,
You
and
said it.
people are gonna want it,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, they'll pay for it. It's wild, but yeah, it's crazy.
I'm just curious, like the type of person that it would go to, like
It
someone
could.
like Zach
What if
Baggins, for
somebody just comes in
example.
and says, I'm gonna give you 50,000, and I'm just keep my name out of it, like a silent bidder? Is that
That could
possible?
happen.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
No, I could see how someone like a Zach Baggins would
Like a silent bidder.
get that vehicle and be very public. Like, I just
Oh, okay,
purchased.
maybe.
It
Yes.
could go either way.
It could go either way. You're right.
Yeah. Clifford. Yeah, of course someone will buy it. Someone bought the front doors.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, right.
Yep. Who was Karen Reed? Tony. I mean, to be fair, we only talked about her once or twice on this channel. So, Danny, feel like making some. If you knew me, no, I ain't cooking. No. Yeah, so I saw that and thought Scott Michaels owns the Jane Mansfield death car.
There you
Really?
go. Good point, James, because that's going to be like you said. And to your point, yeah, you could be one of these people that have it in a museum or in a museum space, or to show it off in that space, and in that orbit of murderabilia.
Like, my first question with this was like, did Karen not get the option to get her vehicle back? Because if you guys go through like past news, she has been fighting to get like what was taken from her when she first got arrested back, and this vehicle was one of it. So I'm like, wait a minute, like, yes, who purchased it is going to then be donating the proceeds to her, but I'm like, wait, was this agreed upon, or was it like she just didn't have access to it? Like, I don't know, I have questions because there's nothing that I read that was like she's just giving it up for what, because I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. So if someone finds out like how this kind of went down and why she doesn't have it herself, and then
Right, and
I
it's
don't
still,
know.
I mean, a few minor updates to it, fix its and stuff. It only has 12,000 miles on it. It's a little brand new
Yeah.
car. She must have not drove it very far.
Well, I mean, think about it. It was
Oh, what happened? I'm sorry.
2021.
It sat for a couple years. Never mind.
Yeah, it
You're
was
right.
2021, and
Yeah, you're right.
yeah. I mean, you don't have to go there. You can go other places, Tony Stewart. Yeah. So that is all of the update news for tonight, folks. As a reminder, I will not be doing the True Crime and Chill next weekend because it's my dance show weekend, so I will not be around. Make sure to vote by the end of tomorrow night for which book for book club, because it was a tie between two. Sherry Frankie's wrote about her mother, Ruby Frankie, and then the book The Spider about Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. So those are the two options. Tony from the trunk, long time no see, hun. Hope you're doing well. Oh my gosh, blast from the past seeing you. Hope you're doing good, hun. Let's see. So yeah, book club. Beckham, the interview of Beckham, which, yeah, I feel like
yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see.
Calm down. So leave a comment on that post if you want me to do it, or if y'all as an audience want the control and want to ask him the questions. Like Spitfire, we will do it. Let's see. Other than that, again, the most important thing for tonight is just getting the news out there for my friend Jen Rivera about her missing aunt Linda Brown. So any information, if you were in the Chicago area, please anything, and just share that. I posted it on a YouTube post. Get that photo, please. Just circulate it. So anything, Beckham, before we head out?
No, man, it's been a great show. Good night, and a good night. Thanks for everybody tuning in.
Well said. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your evening. And remember, until next time, we don't live in darkness. Darkness lives in us. And I'm fresh out of Fox for tonight. Good night, everyone. Bye.